Guys, welcome back to another episode of Project Explorer. I'm inside the truck today because there's a lot going on outside. It's pretty noisy, and I wanted to do the Project Explorer episode, and I wanted to still make it part of the, the typical thing I do in the series, which is sit inside the truck. So, today's video is going to be talking about the plans for the vehicle that have changed, again. So the plans for this truck change constantly. It really depends on what money's available, what my parents are willing to help with, because my parents help out a lot with this truck, and I'm very thankful for them for that, because without them I wouldn't be able to do a lot of things I've been able to with the truck. The seatbelt pads were actually a gift from them, so as well as this lanyard, keeping this thing running. So what my parents basically help out with is anything that is maintenance, so tires, the valve cover gaskets, the door handle on the outside, oil, coolant, all that good stuff that we've had to put in this truck at one point or another has been through their work. And anything that is modifications has been my work. So that's why it's still stock after a year, almost a year of me owning it, a couple more weeks, and I'll be putting out to my official 1 year review of the truck. So I'm pretty excited about that. That's why there are so many nice trucks in our neighborhood. But anyway, back onto the plan. So the Magnaflow Plan has been switched again. I've gone through 4 different types of mufflers that I've suggested that will be done, and none of them ever get done. So we're going back to the Flowmaster. Now, my big plan, I know I wasn't going to say anything about it till it was done, but it's not going to get done now after some turns of events. The big plan was getting the lowering kit and 17-inch rims and then upgrading at a later point. But my parents won't be able to afford tires for those 17-inch wheels, so they'd really just be sitting around collecting dust for several months until they had the money to afford to put tires in this truck with the 17s. So I decided to skip out in the 17s and keep and the lowering springs I'm running into some issues with, because the set I looked at was the Beltec lowering kit. You can find that on JC Whitney. It doesn't come with shocks, and I did some research. I was like, it can't be that bad. Of course, I don't know anything about lowering real-life cars. All I know about is lowering cars in Forza. So I looked it up. What happens if you don't replace the shocks and you lower the cars? They flip so much easier. There's so much body roll because the shocks are messed up. The travel's all goofy in them. And I read somewhere in there, the moment you swerve to miss something, you'll know why it's bad. So I was like, all right. So I had to account $160 in for nitro drop shocks, also from Beltec. And it came out to be about $300. No, around 400, and if I'm doing the calculations in my head, which I'm always wrong, it's in the 440 range, maybe. I don't know. So it'd be quite expensive right at this point at such a high, like, since I'll have $500 to burn basically. And what I'm deciding to do is I'm going to replace some stuff, get this thing running perfect, because this thing has had so many different issues throughout its lifespan that it's really made things difficult for me. So the first thing I'm replacing is the radio. This radio is super glitchy. I'm actually going to see if it'll do it right now. Put the key in and turn it to accessory power. Better turn that off. So, see a glitch right there. It doesn't do it all the time, but it likes to. An 88.3 is what I use for this, which also got a new aux cable, so, which is cool. It came from some fake Jamaican beats I bought over 2 years ago. But yeah, so the first thing I'm doing is getting the radio replaced, and this will be the one time I pay for anything maintenance related. I'm getting the valve cover gaskets replaced, because they are in definite need of being replaced, because now both of them are shot. It's leaking oil in 2 spots. I think I mentioned that episode 4, the same time I did the headlight restoration video. I'm also getting the Flowmaster Super 40. That's back on the build list. I'll have the money to afford it. I'm getting a Ford ST badge, like off of a Focus or Fiesta ST. Can't decide if I'm going to do blue or red, because the red will stand out more in the truck, but the blue actually matches the vehicle. So that's one thing to look into. And then I'm also getting a set of CG Euro taillights. If you saw my official build list on Twitter, you'll see that all of these things are included in that list. And the lowering springs and the wheels will be waiting until a later point. My mom is trying to talk my dad into getting me wheels and tires at 20-inch, which is what I really want for this vehicle when I graduate high school. It's a graduation gift, which will be May-ish. So expect a video on that about then. And I really want to get tire text, white letter tires for these tires while they're still running 16s. I may do that whenever we replace the tires on this, because basically what we're doing is the front tires are still perfect. They've got tons of miles on them because it's a rear-wheel drive truck. and it doesn't really get used as hard as the rear tires, which are extremely bad. They're almost to the point of showing cord. They've been on since we bought the truck, and even then they were already bad. So I'm gonna try to tell my parents and beg them to put white letters on them, whether it's painted on, which I've already watched a couple of videos by a couple of other YouTubers that are small car YouTubers like Brembo and others to do white text tires on these trucks. Of course, Brembo did it on his Audi, which it looked pretty cool. He had custom text somehow. I don't know how he did it, where he has his YouTube name in the tire text. But I plan on doing something very similar with this, as long as I can beg my parents to let me do it, because I love white letter tires. I don't know what it is about me. I always thought they were the coolest thing ever. But yeah, that's on the list of things to get done. And a bazooka tube. Now, that's not confirmed with the build plan, because I am going to save up some money so I can eventually afford to get the lowering kit done, and do it right, because I don't want to buy the springs, get it lowered, have the bad shocks, have a bad day where I need to swerve and miss something and I flip. Because if for those you don't know, Explorers are very prone to flipping over, especially these older models like this one is. There's actually a sticker up here that says high rollover risk. So definitely not something I want to chance. So that's why I'm gonna wait until I get that done. I'm also gonna be putting out, hopefully within a few weeks, another Project Explorer episode. The only one I'll do from behind my room walls and stuff in here. Called the build process, like not the build process, but the life of my sport track before I had it. Because I've learned a little bit about the truck ever since I got it, and I thought it'd be cool to make a video kind of expressing every single aspect this truck's gone through in its lifespan, from being used as its original owner intended to what it is now. It's been a rough ride for this truck for sure, but it's definitely fought through it, and definitely has changed my look on the brand of Ford in general. For those who don't know, I used to be a big GM fanboy when it came to trucks, GM and Dodge in particular. My first truck, I actually wanted a Dodge Dakota, and that didn't fall through. My parents hate the Dakota. My dad's had bad experience with them in his family, and multiple members of his family have had Dakotas, and they all die really quickly. The idea behind an Explorer Sport Track, though, came from my mom. Multiple members of my family have had these before. My grandmother had it. My step-grandmother had one. My uncle had one. Actually, for a short bit of time, they lived with us, and I never even knew back then, but he had one of these at that time, and then I got mine. So I'm the third member in the family to have a sport track, the only one that currently still have one. And so my mom trusted these trucks. She knows they're strong, they're durable, and they can handle anything. So that was her idea. I wanted an Avalanche or a Silverado. Those are my top two trucks that I really wanted. My dad did not like either because they were too big. And there was even a red Sierra that I fell in love with that was at a dealership about 15 minutes from here. And my dad said no because it was too big. And then we have the Honda predicament, which I don't remember if I told you guys that story. That car was a junker. It had odometer rollback and saw the open recall and the Takata airbags. So we got screwed over there. And the paint was just in horrible shape, my dad said. He saw the car in person, and he said it was an absolute pile of crap. So, and long story short, I was upset because that was a car I really wanted. That was like my number one car at the time, because I still wanted a car. I wasn't really sold on the truck idea at the time. So later on that night, my mom was like, keep your shoes on, just do it. And I'm asking like, why? What are we doing? And mom's like, shut your mouth, keep your shoes on. So my dad gets home, he's like, all right, let's take off. I'm like, where in the world are we going? He's like, you'll see. About an hour later, we traveled about an hour or so, maybe, out of my house, and this truck was sitting there. And the next day, my mom bought it for me. Well, not my mom, just my mom. My mom and my dad bought it for me. And yeah, so I'll put all that though in the official life of my truck video. But thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Project Explorer. I know it was pretty long-winded, and again, another one of my infamous rant videos. But thank you guys again for watching this video. Like and subscribe for more. For those who are wondering, Kendallstone's not dead. He just is choosing not to upload. Random thing for me to say in a Project Explorer episode. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Take care, guys.